Welcome back. This is 2.9, divide mixed numbers. I will be able to correctly divide with mixed numbers. I will use what I learned from modeling to make a connection with division and multiplication. Alright, our vocabulary for this lesson. Fraction is part out of a whole. Numerator is the top number on a fraction. Denominator is the bottom number on the fraction that tells us how many it takes to make a whole unit. Equivalent fractions are fractions that are equal to each other but different in numbers. Reciprocal is the fraction that has been flipped. Mixed number is a whole number with a fraction. An improper fraction means that the top of the fraction is larger than the bottom. So when working with mixed numbers, it is always best to convert them into improper fractions. Before calculating, mixed number answers. So we discovered that when dividing with fractions, we could multiply the dividend, meaning the first fraction, so multiply the dividend by the reciprocal of the divisor. Remember KFC, keep the first, flip the second, change the sign? So how do you think this will apply to mixed numbers and division? Go ahead and pause your video and write in your own words how you think this will apply. Okay, you should have paused the video and written in your own words. I'm going to write in my words. Your words should be different than mine. So how do you think this will apply to mixed numbers and division? I need to first change all mixed numbers into improper fractions. And then multiply by the reciprocal. Divisor. So let's go ahead and put that down here. So if we don't want to make the model, the shortcut for dividing fractions and mixed numbers is to. So first we want to make all mixed numbers improper. After we've done that, then we will be able to keep the first, flip the second, change the sign. So remember KFC. So keep the first the same. flip the second fraction. So that's the divisor only, or always. That's probably what we should put. You're always flipping the divisor. And then change the sign to multiply. Okay, here it says, estimate the quotient to each answer, then solve. Artemis has 4 2/3 yards of fabric. It takes 1 3/4 yards to make a pillow. How many pillows can she make? So, we have this much fabric, so here's the total, 4 2/3, and we're dividing it into groups that are each 1 3/4 yards big for each pillow. Alright, for estimating sake, I would rather have an underestimate than an overestimate, thinking I can make a bunch of pillows just to find out I can't make that many. So if I round my divisor up and this number down, that would be an underestimate. I'm going to round this up to 2 because it's about 2 yards. And now this, I want something that works with 2. If I round all the way up to 6, that's going to give me an inflated idea of what I can make. So I'm going to round down to 4 because 4 works great with 2. And it is closer to 4 2/3. But if I round it to 5, which a lot of you want to do, because you just want to go to the nearest whole, then it just doesn't work as well with 2. Okay, so 4 divided by 2 is 2, so my estimate is about 2 pillows. So let's do the math for real this time. So 4 2/3 divide by 1 3/4. Turn both of these improper first. So 4 times 3 is 12, so there's 12 thirds in this plus the 2 thirds we have. That would be 14 thirds. Divide by 1 times 4 is 4 plus 3 is 7. So 7/4. Okay, all I've done is change the fraction. Notice how I have not changed this yet. A lot of times I see kids do this and they automatically change this to multiply. Don't do that yet. All you've done is change how we've written those. Now we can keep the first, flip the second, which is our divisor. Now we can change the sign to multiply. The other thing not to do is don't cross cancel until you have a time sign here. So 3 and 4 do not share anything in common. 4 and 7 do. 7 goes into 7 one time. 7 goes into 14 2 times. Okay, multiply across the top. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 1 is 3. 8 thirds. 3 goes into 8 2 whole times. And that leaves me with 2 pieces left over. So 2 2/3 pillows. So you have. Alright, let's try this problem. Barry has 28 pieces of paper. He has enough paper to make 3.5 booklets. How many papers does he need? 28. And we know that we're dividing it into booklets. So we know he has 3.5 groups worth. So that's the number of papers it takes. So if I'm estimating here, I'm going to say this is close to 4. 4 works very nicely with 28. So I can expect about 7 papers per booklet. That's just an estimate to help me know that my answer is in the right area after doing the math. So 28 divided by 3 1/2. Turn all whole numbers or mixed numbers into improper fractions. That's why we turn 28 into 28 over 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. This would be the same as 7/2. I'm still dividing though. All I've done is transitioned each of these into its improper fraction form. Now let's take this and flip it. So keep the first, 28 over 1. Flip the second, 2 over 7. Change the sign to multiply. Now cross cancel if you can. 1 and 2 share nothing in common, but 28 and 7 do. 7 goes into 7 one time, 7 goes into 28 4 times. Multiply across the top. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 1 is 1. So in other words, 8 papers are how many he needs to make a booklet. Okay? I would like you to rate yourself on this concept. Are you a 0, meaning still need a lot of help? 1, 2, 3, 4, you can teach somebody else how to do this. Take a picture and put it on your Google Classroom.